So many people that have really hit big have gone against the tide. But you have to have great confidence in yourself. You have to be the right person. There are very few people that can pull it off, but when you pull it off, it's great. If you can have a mentor, having a mentor makes a big difference in life. Now you have to look around for somebody that you aspire to be, or to be like. But having a mentor is really just a wonderful thing if you can have a mentor. I went to a great school. I went to the Wharton School of Finance, and in that school I met a lot of people heading industries today and over the past, very smart people. But I've watched some of the people grow. I've watched some of the most incredible, brilliant students, and they didn't make it like other people made it because they didn't have that drive. They didn't have that never give up ability. I don't know if it's an ability or if you just have it. You can't quit. I've seen people quitting, and if they would have held out longer, they would have been successful. I've seen it so much. I've seen some of the most brilliant people in the world that never made it because they were quitters. One of the most important things, never, ever quit. Never quit. They were just quitters. They would quit. They just couldn't take it. One of the things about loving what you do is that it's not work, and therefore you don't quit. Automatically, it's a lot easier not to quit. But you can never give up. Now you have to also have flexibility, though. You can't necessarily say, I'm never giving up, and you've got to be able to weave and bob. You don't have to go through a concrete wall when you can go over it or around it or under it or something. You have to have flexibility. You have to always be able to change course a little bit, maybe always with that same goal, but don't quit. We're on this planet for a very, very small period of time, and achievement is something that really gives you great pleasure, and when you achieve something, that's great, but now on to the next, very important. You keep going. I was no different when I was 20 years old. Believe me, I wanted to be successful. I wanted to get out of Brooklyn. I said, Pop, I love you, but I want to get out of Brooklyn. I love Brooklyn, but I want to get out, and I love those buildings. When I looked from Queens and Brooklyn and I'd see those big buildings, those big skyscrapers in Manhattan, I said, Pop, that's what I want to do. That's what I wanted to do. About 8 years ago, I was approached by NBC and Mark Burnett to do a show that they had entitled The Apprentice. Now, I had an agent, a big agent, and he was a great agent, but I shook Mark Burnett's hand, and NBC was dying to do it, and they said, We'd only do it if you do it, Trump. You're the only one we want, nobody else. I was honored, and I said, Okay, I'm going to do it. I knew nothing about television. Nothing. My agent calls me. I heard you accepted doing The Apprentice. I won't let you do it. I said, Jim. He said, Donald, in the history of television, there's never been a primetime show about business or what you're trying to do that succeeded. I said, I wish you told me that. Then he said, and only 3% of the shows that go on television make it. In other words, you're probably going to have a failure anyway, but you'll definitely have a failure. I'm your agent. I do not want you to do this show. I said, You know, Jim, I have a problem. I shook the hand of NBC, and I shook the hand of Mark Burnett. I said, I shook the hand. He said, Doesn't matter. You can't do it. I said, I have to do it anyway. Time goes by. We do the show. It goes on. It starts at number 10. It goes to 8. It goes to 5 and 4. It then goes to number 2. And the following week, it's the number 1 show on television. And I knew it was good because I didn't know what the word rating meant. I didn't know, is that good or bad? But I know it was good because the chairman of NBC called me. It was my birthday, and it was 7:00 in the morning. He called and said, Donald, I just wanted to wish you a happy birthday. Now to me, as an instinctive businessman, that means we're doing okay, right? My wife said, Who was that? I said, That was the chairman of NBC. He wanted to wish me happy. She said, Darling, it's like 6:30 in the morning. We went out, and I get a call from the agent, and he calls me also, but his call was like an 8. He said, Donald, congratulations. I'd like to see you. I said, Jim, what do you want to see me about? He said, Well, your show just hit number 1, and if you don't mind, I think I'm entitled to a very substantial commission. I said, How much do you think you're entitled to? Well, how about $2 or $3 million? I said, Jim, you're fired. And that was it. It is number one. I shook hands. I wanted to honor my handshake. I would have, had I not shaken hands, I would have really listened to Jim. That's important. Number two is sometimes in life, to be successful. Oftentimes, most of the time, you have to follow your instincts. You have to follow your gut. Your parents may say wrong. Your whoever may say wrong. But you have to do it. Now, speaking of that, you've got to love what you do. And I've seen so many instances where people with great talent went into things that they didn't love, and they failed. I would always say to people, and I'd see people, and I'd say, you've got to love what you do. Because, you love what you do. You work harder, but it's not work.